So, first of all, good choice of words. If you wanted to get a laugh on it, though, let me be specific. What was it he said?
He said that we at the end of every class we sing a song.
Right.
And he says, let's send
Don't
this...
tell me. Shalom Yeladim Shalom. Not that song?
No, the Long Time Sunshine song.
Oh. You know what yoga is backwards.
Okay.
That's it.
He says, let's sing this song for all those who are suffering and don't realize they don't need to.
Okay.
So in essence, his New Age philosophy is that everyone's suffering because they either choose to or because they chose to in another life.
It sounds to me
I find that really repellent.
It sounds to me like what he was saying is, and this is, I'm not Rashi, but it sounds to me like what he was trying to say was, even though you may be presented with suffering, you can spin it or look at it in such a way that it is a given and you don't have to suffer because it's a given. So what you want to say is, I think he's out of the world. And his last quote, what was his last quote exactly?
Let's send this song out for all the people who are suffering and don't realize they don't need to be suffering.
And then I would say, if I sing, they're only going to suffer more.
Can you tie your humor to like events in your childhood that formed you in any way analogous to what I was trying to articulate?
You know, I remember my first time getting applause. I was with my brother at our judo class. I was like 5, and I remember there are 3 rolls. The first roll is a 2-hand roll, second roll is a single arm roll, and the third roll is a flip. Full front flip, land on your back. I could do that. And I remember there was like a whole bunch of people there, and people did the first roll, did the second roll, and I did the flip. And everyone burst into applause. And they were freaked by it. And I remember as a kid going, wow, that's something. And my big brother going, do it again, do it again, do it again, do it again. They liked it, do it again. So I was kind of making him happy. You know, making him feel good. And me too, but I liked the fact that my big brother was like into it. You know, all of a sudden I wasn't just a little schmo. I had some power, I guess. That's really what comedy is, isn't it? Just power. It's love me, love me, love me. I have some power. Here's the power. Here who I am. Now love me, love me, love me, love me, love me.
So you weren't the guy who was putting tacks
Never.
shelved side up on other people's desks.
Never, never, never. That was never me. Some of my friends were doing that.
That was me.
That was
you. The girls who liked me,
Yeah.
I'd put a tack on their chair to punish them.
That was. I'll give you an example. This is like pushing the envelope a bit. So we used to have the Hebrew principal. I'm not going to mention his name. May he rest in peace. He was a good guy, and he used to say, he used to like teach us Chumash, teach us Torah. He used to say, "Mi sheyachol lehashiv li et hatshuva." Whoever can answer this question, yekabel pruta chadasha, will get a brand new penny. And he asked the question, and I knew the answer. And he came over and he goes, "Here, Cait, magia lecha pruta. You deserve this penny." And I said, "No, no, 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 no. I can't take a week's salary." And then he laughed because he said, I remember he said to me, he goes, "You don't know how close to the truth you are." To me, that was more my kind of thing. I mean, I could think of like, you know, I went for the joke, never the rude guy, but the joke for sure.
I'm thinking one advantage of growing up in a Jewish community is that you learn to become comfortable with being part of community, and something that many people don't realize is what it's like to live in community and to be comfortable with that, and how important that is for happiness.
Oh yeah. Well, you know, what do they say? It takes a village. I read Hillary Clinton's book. It takes a village to satisfy my husband. And see, I had an opportunity to break in one of my lines. All right, it works. I'll keep it. Yeah. Listen, you know, what are you going to do? Otherwise, you got to travel around with your kid 24/7 for the rest of his life. You know, he's got to be able to interact. And the kahal, you know, the village, the community, is what is the beginning of the trust factor and of his street smarts. And if he can make it inside his community, then chances are when he leaves his community and goes into other communities, he'll have more or less the right tools to, you know, negotiate a successful path. I've always liked it. I mean, I dig it. I like, you know, in Toronto where I grew up, everyone had their community. And it wasn't just Jewish communities I enjoy. I love the Italian community, Portuguese. They're all great. Or just like the straight, Irish waspy guys. You got to be able to rock and roll in life, and be it your own community or someone else's. It's a big world out there. Don't shut yourself in.
How many people, I guess particularly in California, I've lived in California for 32 years, people who don't have community and are not comfortable in community. And I know a lot of people like that, and I don't know any of them who I call happy.
But you know what? I think that's partly a Los Angeles thing, because you're saying California now, and I don't think the same thing would hold true if you were, in Northern California or San Diego or Escondido or Irvine, anywhere in the Orange. LA is a really weird place, and it is totally vehicular. And as such, it's not like, New York or Toronto, Chicago, where you're using the subway. You don't have to live with people in the city. You don't have to. You can be in your own little bubbly car. So you're just kind of going from one cocoon to another in this place. So you don't have a lot of human interaction here. That's I think, I wouldn't say is indigenous to LA. Maybe it is, because there's no subway here. Paris, there's a huge subway. London, a gigantic subway. There's just not a lot of community interaction here, minus the own community that you live in.
So many people in the entertainment industry don't have a community outside of the industry. I'm struck by people who just say, I'm not a joiner. And it's sad.
And yes, I think it is. I think they suffer because of it. And yeah, of course, you know what I mean. I'm not saying that there aren't. I have great friends, in show business. Great friends of every denomination, every sexuality, everything. But at the end of the day, if it isn't just about a check clearing the bank, what is it?
I had one acquaintance who called me from the hospital. She had to go to the hospital in an emergency. And she was an acquaintance, and she called me for a ride home because this was someone who was living without community.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's. That's.
Like if you needed a ride to the hospital and your wife couldn't give you one, I'm sure there are 6 people, in your phone that you could call.
7, including you.
7 now.
Yeah, of course. But that's. What I think happens, the sad part of show business, and I've seen it was without mentioning names, I know plenty of old, very successful comics who were just into their career. Now they're older, and if they didn't have any kids, or they didn't have any real friends, they're just kind of left lonesome on a bar stool. I think Billy Crystal I love a lot of Billy Crystal's work, including Midnight Train in Moscow, but I love Mr. Saturday Night. And without ruining for everybody who didn't see it, but there's just a message to it of, be a mensch, be a nice guy, go through life, make real friends, try to have a real family, just try to be kind. Be kind, and even if you don't have a family, you have real friends. A lot of the people in this town, I think, have their priorities mixed up. You ever watch Entourage?
Yeah.
I didn't like it at first because it was too true. And then once I got over that, I love it because it's so well done. Yeah, there's a lot of self-inflicted sadness, and I'm sure there are a lot of people, towards the end of their lives, who had wonderful careers, be it on camera or on the other side of the camera, editing, directing, agenting, whatever it is. I'm sure there are a lot of people who put all their eggs in the career basket and may have a second thought about it. Or maybe not. And good for them.
One of the great things about Judaism is that it's a wise way to live. Like it parcels out time for family and for work and for learning.
I used to have a rabbi who used to say, it is a blueprint for happiness. And at the end of life, at the end of your life, what do they say? What do they say at the end of your life? When you go up to heaven, God wants to know about your charity. God wants to know about your good deeds. He's not interested in your 5-picture deal, or your 58-room mansion. He wants to know, what did you do to help me out?